Hi there, it's August 22nd, 11/11. Um, but down at the bottom of this website it says August 23rd because it's Eastern Standard Time, I believe. So this is the United States, according to College of DuPage. You can see these weather systems moving around this area right in here. And let's look at something else. So this is the National Weather Service, and here's the date right here, 8/23/23. Blistering heat in central U.S. Tropical heavy rain from Harold and Franklin. Excessive and dangerous heat will intensify and expand in the central U.S. Harold remnants will bring a threat of strong to severe thunderstorms and heavy to excessive rain from southwest to the Intermountain West. Tropical storm Franklin will bring heavy rain that could cause flash flooding, mudslides in Puerto Rico and the USVI as the system passes across Hispaniola. Okay, so this is the heat wave right now in central United States. It was expanded, but let's look at some. So down here is where they're talking about Storm Franklin. All you have to do is click on it, but also when I put my mouse on it, it shows 70 west, including approaches to the Windward Passage. But I want to talk about something going on here in the Midwest right now. I'm going to click on a couple of these spots just to show you, like this is what you can do with the National Weather Service. They can explain what the heat is for Wednesday 100s, Thursday 100s, Friday 100s, Saturday 90s. Here's the radar, according to National Weather Service on the site, which makes me curious because I see a lot of beams, like the array is really going out wide. I'm just curious what's going on that it's doing that. I'm gonna also just click here. I'm just taking a random spot just to see what the weather is going to be. Excessive heat conditions, but they don't have the temperatures on this spot. Okay, let's find another one. Oh, I thought I'd take a quick look at what the radar looks like there. See, the radar here is a little bit different. It's not quite, the spokes, like to the wheel, don't go out quite as far as the other one, although they do in some spots. Okay, let's just try here. Just random. And here, look at how this radar is actually spreading out a long distance. That's a long ways if you look at all these little cities in here. Let me make that big. So this is Omaha, and you can see how far Des Moines, the circle goes. There's a little arrow I can push and make it move somewhat. Oh, my computer's pretty slow, so we'll find a better way to see it. Look at that beam coming out of there. And then these weird little beams here. And I have another spot where I can see it better, so I think we'll do that. This makes me very curious, though. And just to show you, see that little white spot right there? The facility is in the center there. For some reason, the radar doesn't read right above where the facility is located. And that's outside of Omaha. Okay. So I'm going to show you on College of DuPage the radar. That takes kind of a long process. First I have to get it on my radar, but I'm going to just jump to it for this area, okay? I decided I'll show you how I do it in case you want to do it. So I go up under local weather and then I click on regional radar, which is right around, since it's the College of DuPage, And then I can go over here and they have different areas so I can see in different areas of the United States. Look at how crazy and wild these beams look over here. So I want to get over in that section because that looks really crazy and wild to me. So I'm going to stop it and see if I can get over there more. So I clicked down here on regional. It gave me these little dots. Continental is bigger, but anyway, let's do this. I don't want to take up your time too much. And it'll get me to that area a little more. I want to get closer to. But see how these beams are just like all over the place on here. And let's see if I can pause and okay, see like this huge beam going way out there. And look at how far this one's going. Look at this. Here's this wide one. Now, I'm not a meteorologist. I just find that these things are fascinating to me because they are really beautiful. Look at these little lines in here. Let's get a little closer if we can. I also want to show you this line here. There's, when I move it, stop and go, stop and go, you can see a couple lines that look like the wind is moving down, but it's around instead of just the line coming out of the facility. Let's see if I can. Oh. Okay, I'm going to do that there, right there. See that line right there? And I can't zoom in on here, so I have to go to another spot over here to get in closer. Okay, let me do that. Alright, I got closer, but they spread out so far it's hard to see. But let me do this a few times while I'm talking to you. There's some strange things that you see on here. Like this all of a sudden appearing. So there's kind of like so much to see, and then I don't really know what it means. But I do know that the energy that comes from the radar stations is energy. Okay, we'll just go with that for now. Okay, let's see if we can get another. I think I was already in this spot, but see these long lines here? These long energy lines. And like, look at this one here. Okay, so I've got it on global sector. Just thought you might like to see some of this, what's going on here. And I don't see the key. But when it gets darker in these clouds, it's more intense. And the blue is the least intense. But all that radar was happening right in this area that we saw. I can go all the way over here in Africa. Let me show you how I did that. Oops. Okay, so I went under global and then I clicked on this white button over here. And then I can see what's going on over here somewhat. And this is, I'm looking under infrared radar. You also can look, I'm looking under full disk, east or west. You can look at all these other places too. But we're not going to do that right now, okay? I just want to show you the difference. That was College of DuPage, and this is the National Weather Service. And this is while I'm in the city. But if you look at it from a distance, you can't really even see a lot of this. I'll show you here. So the reason why I found that interesting is because this is where the heat is. Right where that radar is looking like that. And then we've got storm clouds coming around this way and down here. And let me show you the radar, what it looks like for the whole globe. Am I on there? Okay, see? That's why the College of DuPage is more important than this. But if you click on the city, then it did show more. And then they have this thing, enhanced radar. But the whole thing is covered with the alert. So that's not helpful at all to me. So I want to make sure that you understand. The World Health Organization is talking about radiation from radar. And here they explain it. I've got the link below. And what they're used for and what are the health effects. And I'll click on one of those in a moment. Okay, so what are the possible health effects of radar? Now this was written in 2007, November 2nd. Most studies conducted to date examined health effects other than cancer. They probed into physiological and thermoregulatory responses, behavioral changes, and effects such as induction of lens opacities, cataracts, and adverse reproductive outcomes following acute exposure, acute is short, to relatively high levels of RF, which is radiation fields, I believe. RF fields. There are also a number of studies that report non-thermal effects where no appreciable rise in temperature can be measured. Cancer-related studies, you can click on the link and read these. WHO has conducted that there is no convincing scientific evidence that exposure to RF shortens the lifespan of humans, or that it is an inducer or promoter of cancer. However, further studies are necessary. Now, this is 2007. When this was written, you'd think it'd be updated by now. Thermal effects, they've been studied in animals, including primates. The earliest signs of an adverse health consequence found in animals as the level of RF fields increased include reduced endurance, aversion of the field, means you don't want to be in it, decreased ability to perform mental tasks. These studies also suggest adverse effects may occur in humans subjugated to whole body and localized exposure to RF fields sufficient to increase tissue temperature by greater than 1 degree Celsius. I'll move it up. Possible effects include the induction of eye cataracts and various physiological and thermoregulatory responses as the body temperature increases. So it makes your body temperature increase, is what it's saying. These effects are well established and form the scientific basis for restricting occupational and public exposure to RF fields. So they're saying, yes, it can cause some of these things, and then there's a lot more to read, and I don't want to make this too long, so I would say please make sure that if you're interested, you read this and you do some research on your own. They're talking about how it can affect even cardiac pacemakers and stuff, and this is an interesting point. Ignition of flammable liquids and explosives. RF fields can ignite flammable liquids and explosives through the concentration of radars, such as on board a naval ship, where measures are taken to prevent such effects. Okay, I can't make it much longer. It says the RF fields cause molecules in the tissues to vibrate and generate heat, and then they explain it. But down here at the bottom it says, at present there is no substantive evidence that adverse health effects, including cancer, can occur in people exposed to RF levels at or below limits set by the international standards. However, more research is needed to fill certain gaps in knowledge. Thank you for listening. I have to stop this because I have a limit on time. Grateful for you and hear your service.